Tonight, you will follow the slow and quiet journey of a Viking as he drifts across a cold and silent sea. There is no battle waiting for him, no storm to fear, no voice calling his name, only the gentle rhythm of water, the soft whisper of the northern wind, and the long, peaceful passage of time. So settle in, allow your breathing to slow, and let yourself drift, far away, to a place where the world moves more slowly. Long before the sun begins to rise, before even the faintest light touches the horizon, a small village rests in deep silence. Wooden houses stand quietly beneath the dark sky, their shapes barely visible in the night. Roofs are lightly covered with frost, and the ground beneath them is firm, cold, still. No voices can be heard, no footsteps, no movement, only the faint sound of wind, passing slowly between the buildings, and disappearing again into the darkness. Inside one of these quiet homes, a man begins to wake. The Viking does not open his eyes suddenly. There is no alarm, no urgency. His breathing changes first, deep, slow, becoming just slightly more aware. Then, gradually, his eyes open. The room around him is dim, lit only by the faint glow of dying embers. Resting quietly in a small fire pit, soft shadows move gently along the wooden walls, shifting with the last movements of the fading fire. The air is cool, but calm. He remains still, for a moment, not thinking of the journey ahead, not thinking of distance or time, only listening. The faint crackle of wood, the quiet whisper of wind outside, and the slow rhythm of his own breath. After a while, he begins to move. Slowly, carefully, he sits up, and the wooden bed beneath him lets out a soft creak. A familiar sound, unchanged. A heavy wool blanket slides from his shoulders, falling gently beside him. The cold air touches his skin, sharp at first, but quickly becoming part of the moment. He places his feet on the ground, feeling the solid wood beneath them. Cool, steady, real. For a few seconds, he simply sits there, not rushing, not thinking, only waking, fully, into the stillness of the world around him. Then, he stands. His movements are slow, deliberate, as if time itself has stretched, allowing each action to exist on its own. He reaches for his clothes, simple garments, made of thick wool and worn leather. Each piece is familiar, each movement quiet. He dresses slowly, layer by layer, taking his time. There is no need to hurry. Outside, the world remains silent. The sea waits in the distance, dark, calm, endless. When he is ready, the Viking walks toward the door. His hand rests on the wood for a moment, feeling its texture, the slight cold that has settled into it during the night. Then, slowly, he opens it. The hinges make only the faintest sound, barely breaking the silence. Cold air enters the room. Fresh, sharp, alive. He steps outside. The night is still there, deep, quiet. Above him, the sky stretches endlessly, filled with faint stars, soft and distant. His breath appears in the air, rising slowly, before fading into nothing. For a moment, he stands still, looking out, toward the direction of the sea. He cannot see it clearly yet, only a dark line, far beyond the village. But he knows it is there, waiting, just as it always has been. After a quiet breath, he begins to walk. Each step is slow, measured, deliberate. The ground beneath his boots makes a faint sound, a soft crunch of frost. The village remains asleep. As he passes between the houses, no one sees him leave. No one calls out. This journey belongs only to him. And ahead, somewhere in the darkness, his longship waits. The village slowly fades behind him, with each quiet step, with each soft sound beneath his boots. The houses grow more distant, their shapes blending into the darkness. until they are no more than shadows, still, silent, at rest. Ahead, the land opens, leading gently toward the sea. The air changes slightly, becoming more open, colder, carrying with it a faint scent of salt. The Viking continues walking, unhurried, steady. His breath moves slowly in the cold air, rising, then disappearing again and again. There is no sound of voices, no movement from the village. Only the wind, soft and distant, and somewhere ahead, barely heard, the quiet presence of water. At first, it is almost nothing, just a suggestion, a distant rhythm. But as he walks, it becomes clearer, more defined. The sea, waiting, breathing slowly against the shore. The Viking does not quicken his pace. There is no need. The sea will not leave. Step by step, he moves closer. The ground beneath him begins to change, less firm now, slightly damp. Small stones shift quietly under his feet, creating soft, uneven sounds. The darkness ahead feels wider, more open, and then, slowly, it appears. The longship, resting at the edge of the water, held gently in place by a single rope. It moves slightly, rocking with the rhythm of the sea, back and forth, as though it is already awake, waiting. The Viking approaches, his steps growing softer. He stops beside it, standing still for a moment, looking at the ship, not as something new, but as something known, familiar, trusted. The wood is dark, aged by wind, by salt, by time. Its surface carries marks of many journeys, long, quiet journeys, like this one. A rope creaks softly as the boat shifts again. The sound is low, steady, almost comforting. The Viking places his hand against the side of the ship. The wood feels cold, slightly rough, real. He remains there, for a moment, not thinking, not preparing, only feeling the quiet presence of the moment. The sea moves beside him, touching the shore, then retreating again, over and over. The rhythm is slow, endless, unchanging. After a while, he steps forward and climbs into the longship. The wood beneath his feet answers with a soft, hollow sound, familiar. The boat shifts slightly, responding to his weight, but it remains steady, balanced. Inside, everything is simple. A few coiled ropes, a wooden chest, some supplies, carefully placed. Nothing more than what is needed. The Viking moves slowly, checking each item, not with concern, but with quiet attention. Everything is in place, as it should be. He kneels briefly, adjusting a rope, then another. Small movements, precise, unhurried. When he is finished, he stands once more. The rope that holds the ship is still tied, firm, steady. He reaches for it. His fingers move slowly, loosening each knot, one by one. The rope falls free, softly, against the side of the boat. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, very gently, the longship begins to move. A slow shift, almost unnoticeable. The water carries it away from the shore. The distance grows, little by little. The land begins to slip away, becoming less clear, less present. The Viking does not move. He does not reach for the oars. He simply stands, watching the shore, the village beyond, fade into darkness, until there is nothing left. Only the sea, endless, silent, waiting. After a long moment, he takes a slow breath. Then, finally, he reaches for the oars. The journey has begun. The first light of dawn begins to stretch across the horizon. Soft, faint, barely touching the water. The Viking rows slowly, his arms moving with quiet strength, his body attuned to the rhythm of the sea. Each stroke carries the longship forward, smoothly, without haste. The water parts gently beneath the oars, then closes softly, creating a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. Above him, the sky begins to change, shifting from deep navy to pale shades of indigo and silver. A few scattered clouds drift lazily, moving slowly, without urgency. The air is cool and fresh, filling his lungs with quiet energy. He breathes deeply. Inhale, exhale, There is no hurry, no destination demanding attention. The village behind him is long gone, hidden by the darkness, and now by distance. Only the endless expanse of water remains. Each wave moves softly, lifting the ship, then letting it settle. The gentle rocking is comforting, steady, predictable. He closes his eyes for a brief moment, not out of fatigue, but to feel the motion more fully. The sound of the sea, the touch of wind on his skin, the faint smell of salt, all combine into a slow, soothing awareness. He opens his eyes again and watches the horizon. No other ships are in sight, no signs of life, only the movement of the water, the slow rise and fall of each wave. A distant bird calls softly, its voice fading quickly, as if swallowed by the vastness. The Viking continues rowing, slowly, deliberately. His hands grip the oars lightly, feeling the pull, the resistance. There is a natural rhythm, one that his body remembers, one that his mind does not need to think about. He allows himself to drift into it, to merge with the gentle motions. Time becomes fluid. Minutes stretch into long, soft moments. Seconds lose their meaning. The sky grows lighter, a pale orange tint brushing the edges of the horizon. The reflection on the water is soft and dreamlike. He reaches for a small piece of bread, simple and dry, breaking it slowly and pausing between each bite. He feels the texture, the taste. He drinks water, cool and refreshing, swallowing calmly and letting each action flow naturally. The oars move again with the same steady rhythm. Pull, lift, drop. The ship cuts through the water smoothly and silently. A faint fog begins to rise from the surface of the sea, soft and thin, like a curtain slowly drawn across the world. The Viking does not rush. He does not resist it. The mist wraps around him gently, softening the edges of everything. Shapes fade, colors soften, and even the reflection of the sun becomes pale and distant. Still, he continues, quiet and steady, rowing forward. A small flock of birds rises from the water, their silhouettes moving slowly against the brightening sky. The sound of their wings is faint, almost imperceptible. He watches them disappear into the distance. The motion of the oars, the rhythm of his breathing, and the gentle rocking of the ship create a slow, hypnotic pattern, perfect for calm and for sleep. Time stretches again, and the horizon feels infinite. He notices small ripples in the water, the faint movement of fish beneath the surface. Nothing interrupts the calm, nothing calls for attention. He lets his mind drift, not following thoughts, simply observing. The sun rises higher, casting a soft, diffused light across the sea. The colors remain gentle and muted, like a painting. Even the wind has quieted, leaving only the faintest whisper against his face. He dips the oars again, pulling slowly and allowing the ship to glide. Every movement is careful and deliberate. The water moves beneath him, rising and falling. He notices its texture, the subtle changes. The journey is long, yet each moment feels complete. Nothing is missing, nothing is needed. He continues, rowing, listening, feeling. The vast sea stretches endlessly in every direction. And with each stroke, each breath, each gentle motion, the Viking drifts calmly and steadily into the quiet morning. The soft light of morning spreads slowly across the water, touching the waves and making them glimmer faintly, like tiny sparks of silver scattered across the sea. The Viking's hands rest lightly on the oars, feeling the subtle movement of water beneath, a rhythm that is steady, constant, calming. The air has changed, becoming warmer, yet still carrying the crisp freshness of the early hours. A gentle breeze brushes his face, barely noticeable. He breathes slowly, in, out. The sound of water against the hull is soft, soft enough to fade into silence, but persistent, constant. The long ship glides quietly, its shadow reflected on the pale, rippling surface. Ahead, the horizon stretches, indistinct, blurring the line between sky and sea. A faint gull cries in the distance, its voice echoing briefly, before fading into the stillness. The Viking watches, not searching, not expecting, simply observing. He dips the oars again, each stroke smooth, deliberate, slow. The ship moves, gliding over the calm waves. The motion is hypnotic, repeating, endless. A small spray of water touches his face. Cool, refreshing. He does not wipe it away, allowing the sensation to linger. He shifts slightly, leaning forward, then back, following the rhythm of the boat. The rising sun begins to tint the water with soft colors, a mixture of pale gold and muted orange. The reflections ripple gently, changing with each subtle movement. He watches them, letting the calm absorb him. A soft, distant sound reaches his ears, the gentle slap of small waves against the shore far behind. He knows the village is there, but invisible, hidden by distance and fog that has not yet fully lifted. The Viking continues to row, not with effort, but with natural, rhythmic motion. The oars cut through the water. Pull, rise, dip, again. Each repetition is a meditation, a slow, quiet act. The longship responds, sliding forward, turning slightly with the current. The sea seems endless, its surface smooth, silent. A faint smell of salt drifts into the air, combined with a hint of damp wood from the boat. He inhales deeply, letting the scent fill his lungs. The quiet repetition of the oars, the soft rise and fall of the waves, the gentle morning light, all create a perfect rhythm for calm, for focus, for relaxation. He pauses briefly, letting the oars rest in the water. The ship drifts, carried by the subtle current. The motion is slow, imperceptible. He sits quietly, listening to the sound of the water, the faint call of birds, the whisper of the wind. The horizon begins to take shape, a distant line of land, softened by morning haze. The Viking does not rush. He does not lean forward. He simply rows and drifts, immersed in the quiet world. Time passes slowly. The sun rises higher, casting warm light over the calm sea. The ship continues its steady course. Everything is calm, perfectly aligned with the rhythm of life. Each stroke of the oars, each breath, each subtle motion of the ship reinforces the stillness, the peace, the gentle flow of the morning. The Viking closes his eyes briefly, allowing the gentle motion to lull him. There is nothing to do, nothing to worry about. Only this long, calm journey. Over water, under sky. The world is quiet, timeless, endless, and the longship moves, ever so gently, toward the unknown. The Viking continues to row, slowly, deliberately, each stroke measured, each motion a quiet ritual. The air has grown warmer, carrying the faint scent of moss and distant soil. The sea remains calm, its surface mirror-like, reflecting the soft, diffused light of the rising sun. Shadows shift gently across the water, moving slowly as the sun climbs higher. The sound of the oars dipping and lifting creates a steady rhythm, a soft, comforting cadence. He glances toward the horizon, and something changes. A subtle line, barely visible at first, just above the water. The Viking slows his strokes, leaning forward slightly, watching carefully. The line grows clearer, taking shape, dark, solid. Land. The long, endless sea finally meets the edge of the world. He rows steadily, but now with a sense of quiet anticipation. The shoreline is faint, softly blurred by distance. In the early morning haze, rocks rise gently from the water, smooth, dark. A few scattered trees stand quietly, their leaves motionless in the still air. The Viking takes a slow breath, letting the scent of earth and vegetation fill his lungs. The longship moves closer, gliding over the calm water. The small waves lap softly against the hull, creating a quiet, almost meditative sound. He dips the oars again, pulling with steady, measured effort. The shoreline becomes more distinct, revealing small sandy patches and a gentle incline toward the trees. He notices subtle movements, the ripple of leaves, a bird flying low, the distant sound of flowing water. Nothing startles him. Nothing demands attention. Each detail blends naturally into the slow rhythm of his journey. The Viking pauses briefly, resting the oars in the water. The ship drifts, carried gently by the current. The shoreline seems alive, but calm. He watches, taking in the small details. A faint mist rises from the rocks. Cool, soft. The smell of damp earth grows stronger. He rows again, slowly, carefully. The longship moves closer, sliding over the smooth surface. Small fish break the surface, scattering quietly. The Viking does not react. He lets the moment exist. Time seems to stretch, lengthening each second. The sun now paints the sky with soft oranges and pale gold. The reflection in the water shimmers, blurring the line between sea and sky. The shore grows nearer, revealing small pools of water trapped between stones. A gentle breeze moves through the trees, producing a soft, continuous whisper. The Viking leans slightly forward, dipping the oars, pulling carefully. The longship glides smoothly, approaching a small cove. The water here is calm, almost still. The Viking lets the oars rest, allowing the boat to drift gently. He observes the shoreline, taking in the soft colors, the muted sounds, the quiet movement of life. No hurry, no words, only calm. The cove opens before him, quiet, inviting, and he steps forward, guiding the longship slowly toward the sand. Every motion is deliberate, careful, measured. The journey has reached a new stage, but the calm remains. The sea, the sky, the soft light, all blend together into a quiet, endless moment. The longship drifts slowly toward the shore, carried gently by the soft waves. The morning light grows stronger, casting gentle warmth across the water. The pale gold of the sun mixes with soft blue tones of the sea, creating a quiet, serene palette. The Viking leans forward, dipping the oars lightly, feeling the water glide beneath them. The shoreline is now clearly visible, its details soft but distinct. Smooth sand stretches along the small cove, broken by scattered rocks. A few low shrubs cling to the edges, their leaves trembling slightly in the faint morning breeze. The air is crisp, fresh, carrying the scent of salt, moss, and damp earth. He breathes deeply, letting the cool air fill his lungs. The sound of small waves lapping against the hull, soft, constant, becomes part of the rhythm of the journey. The longship moves closer, gliding over shallow water. A small heron stands on a rock, its presence quiet, unmoving. The Viking watches briefly, then turns his gaze back to the horizon. The cove grows nearer, its gentle slope inviting. The sand beneath the water appears pale and smooth. Small fish dart in shallow patches, creating subtle ripples. He lets the oars rest for a moment, allowing the boat to drift. The gentle rocking is almost hypnotic, slow, calming. The sun rises higher, casting soft light across the trees and rocks. Shadows stretch and fade, moving slowly with the angle of the light. A distant bird calls softly, its song carried by the breeze. The Viking dips the oars again. Slowly, deliberately, the ship moves closer, sliding smoothly over the water. He notices small details, the texture of rocks, the patterns of sand, the faint glimmer of shells in shallow pools. Everything is still, calm, perfect. The shoreline stretches before him, quiet, untouched. A small waterfall trickles down a rocky slope. It sounds soft, almost imperceptible. The Viking rows gently, letting the ship glide toward a smooth patch of sand. The water is shallow now, clear, almost glass-like. He pauses, letting the boat drift, absorbing the peace of the moment. The longship responds, nudged softly by the faint current. The world feels timeless, quiet, infinite. Each breath, each movement, each tiny sound becomes part of a slow, hypnotic rhythm. The Viking glances toward the trees, where sunlight begins to filter through the leaves. Shadows dance slowly, creating shifting patterns on the sand. The boat drifts closer, the sand beneath it becoming more distinct. He takes a slow, deliberate breath, letting the calm fill him. The waves lap gently. The leaves whisper softly. The morning air carries the scent of life. Every detail blends, creating a sense of serenity. A moment frozen in time. The Viking leans back slightly, letting the ship drift, absorbing the gentle rhythm of nature. The long journey has reached a new stage, but the calm continues. The ship will come to rest. But for now, the slow glide, the quiet rocking, the gentle rowing continue. Everything moves in harmony. Sea, sky, land, Viking, and the journey remains. Peaceful, hypnotic, endless. The long ship glides gently onto the shallow sand, its hull touching the soft shore. The Viking pauses, allowing the boat to rest. He leans back slightly, closing his eyes for a moment. The sound of the sea has softened, replaced by the faint rustle of leaves, the whisper of a distant stream. The sun climbs higher, casting gentle golden light across the sand. Shadows stretch slowly, shifting with the angle of the morning. A faint breeze carries the scent of wet earth, moss, and pine needles. He opens his eyes, taking in the landscape. The cove is quiet, peaceful, almost untouched. Smooth stones line the edge of the sand. Small pools of water shimmer, reflecting the soft sky above. A few seagulls glide silently overhead, their wings slicing the calm air. He steps lightly onto the sand, feeling the texture beneath his boots. Cool, slightly damp, firm underfoot. The longship rocks gently, responding to the faint current. He walks slowly toward the forest, the trees rising steadily. Soft moss covers the ground. Fallen leaves create a quiet cushion underfoot. The forest is alive, but calm. A small stream trickles nearby, its water clear, rising and falling gently over smooth stones. The Viking pauses, listening, absorbing. The faint sound of birds calls softly, a gentle rhythm that blends with the flowing stream. Light filters through the trees, creating a delicate mosaic of shadows and warm sunlight. He continues walking slowly, each step deliberate, each movement absorbed by the calm. The forest opens slightly, revealing a quiet glade. A single tree stands in the center, its branches spreading wide, leaves shimmering gently. The wind moves softly through them, creating a faint, rustling melody. He sits on a fallen log, allowing his body to relax. The long journey, the rowing, the calm sea, all have led to this quiet moment. Time stretches. Minutes feel like hours, each second lingering. He watches the water ripple, reflecting the soft sunlight. Small insects glide across the surface, tiny shadows moving slowly. He breathes in and exhales, feeling completely connected to the land, to the sea, to the quiet rhythm of the morning. A gentle breeze passes, caressing his face. He stands slowly, feeling the calm energy of the forest. Every step he takes is soft, deliberate. The leaves crunch faintly beneath his boots, the faintest sound in the still forest. He moves closer to the stream, watching the water flow, over stones, around small roots. The motion is slow, steady, hypnotic. He leans down, touching the cool water, feeling it flow over his fingers. The sensation is calming, gentle, real. He sits back, allowing the forest, the stream, the quiet rhythm of nature to fill the space within him. The day continues. The sun rises higher, but the calm remains. Everything moves slowly, deliberate, measured. The Viking watches, absorbing every detail, every sound, every subtle movement. The forest breathes, the stream flows, the birds move quietly overhead, and he is part of it, part of the slow, hypnotic rhythm of this quiet, endless morning. The Viking continues slowly along the soft, sandy shore, feeling each step beneath his boots. the gentle give of the sand slightly shifting with every movement. The sunlight has grown warmer now, casting long, delicate shadows of the nearby trees across the sand and water. The soft breeze carries with it the faint scent of salt, moss, and earth from the forest, mixing into a subtle, calming aroma that fills his lungs with every slow breath. Each inhale draws in the peaceful rhythm of nature. Each exhale releases the tension of long hours spent on the sea. He walks with deliberate care, noticing every detail of the land as it unfolds around him. Smooth stones line the edge of the sand, occasionally catching the sunlight, reflecting small flashes of gold and silver that shimmer faintly with the gentle movement of water lapping against them. Small shells are scattered in shallow pools, glimmering faintly, their intricate patterns reminding him of the slow passage of time and countless journeys these shores have witnessed. A faint ripple moves across one of the pools as a small fish darts beneath the surface, leaving gentle circles that expand softly outward and fade. The forest rises gently behind him, a wall of soft greens and muted browns, the undergrowth thick with moss and fallen leaves. Occasionally, the rustle of small animals moving through the brush breaks the silence, but the sound is quiet and distant, blending naturally into the slow cadence of the environment. The Viking takes a moment to kneel near a stream that trickles down from the hills above, dipping his fingers lightly into the cool, clear water. The sensation is refreshing, grounding, connecting him to the world around him in a way that is calm, yet deeply invigorating. He stands again, brushing his hands gently on his tunic, and continues along a faint path that winds gently up a low hill. Each step is measured, purposeful, but unhurried. Wildflowers begin to appear along the edges of the path, small, delicate blooms in shades of pink and purple, their subtle beauty adding quiet color to the soft greens of grass and moss. The hill is gentle but provides a vantage point from which he can observe the distant waters he has traveled across, their surface now sparkling softly under the afternoon sun. A light breeze moves through the leaves, creating gentle rustling that blends with the faint sound of the waves breaking softly against the shore. A distant bird calls, its song carried lightly on the wind, and the Viking pauses to listen. He closes his eyes for a moment, letting the gentle melody of the forest and sea envelop him, allowing his mind to drift slowly with the rhythm of the natural world. Reaching the crest of the hill, he surveys the quiet landscape before him. The forest behind stretches like a calm sea of green, while the cove he left rests quietly below, small waves shimmering against the pale sand. The sunlight casts golden patterns across the landscape, the shadows moving slowly with the angle of the sun, highlighting subtle textures of rocks, grass, and trees. The air is filled with a peaceful harmony, a natural cadence that seems to pulse in time with his own slow, steady heartbeat. He descends the hill carefully, following the faint winding path that leads toward a narrow inlet, where the water meets the edge of a shallow lagoon. The gentle lapping of waves is soft and rhythmic, blending seamlessly with the whisper of the wind through the trees. Small fish occasionally break the surface of the calm water, creating delicate ripples that fade slowly into stillness. The Viking pauses once again, letting the tranquility of this hidden place settle over him. Time seems suspended. The sun is now higher in the sky, but its warmth is gentle, not harsh. Shadows stretch lazily across the terrain, and every sound, every movement, is absorbed into the quiet harmony of the afternoon. He sits for a moment on a smooth rock near the water, letting the gentle rocking of the boat far below, combined with the subtle movement of the breeze and water, lull him into a state of calm, meditative awareness. The hills rise gently around the lagoon, soft slopes dotted with small shrubs and wildflowers. The forest stretches endlessly behind them, a silent witness to the slow unfolding of the afternoon. The Viking leans back slightly, closing his eyes and taking in the mixture of scents, sounds, and soft light. The rhythmic lapping of water, the faint rustle of leaves, and the occasional distant call of a bird form a natural symphony that continues without interruption. As the minutes pass, he stands once more, moving slowly along the edge of the water, letting his fingers brush the cool surface. Every sensation, from the smooth sand beneath his boots to the subtle warmth of the sunlight on his skin, is experienced fully, deliberately, with calm attention. The Viking's journey through this quiet landscape is slow, unhurried, immersive, each step and gesture blending seamlessly into the tranquil world around him. The afternoon continues in this rhythm. Every detail, from the glimmer of sunlight on water to the gentle sway of branches in the wind, reinforces the hypnotic pace of the journey. The Viking walks gently along the edge of the lagoon, each step measured, absorbing the subtle harmony of the environment. The land, the water, the light, the air, they all exist in perfect balance, and he is part of this quiet, endless dance. The Viking continues slowly along the gentle shores of the lagoon, feeling the soft sand shift beneath his boots with every step. The sunlight has grown warmer now, spreading golden light across the landscape and casting long, delicate shadows of the nearby trees. The breeze carries the faint sense of salt from the distant sea, damp earth from the forest, and the subtle aroma of pine needles, mingling together in a soft, calming fragrance that fills his lungs with every slow, deliberate breath. Each inhale draws in the peaceful rhythm of the natural world. Each exhale releases the tension of long hours spent rowing across the vast waters. He walks carefully, observing every subtle detail of the terrain as it unfolds before him. Small, smooth stones line the water's edge, occasionally catching the sunlight and reflecting faint flashes of silver and gold as gentle ripples move across the surface. Tiny shells glimmer in shallow pools, intricate patterns tracing the slow passage of time, while small fish dart beneath the water, creating soft, concentric circles that expand outward and fade into stillness. Each movement, each ripple, seems to echo the slow, calm rhythm of the day. The forest rises gently behind the shore, its undergrowth thick with moss, fallen leaves, and faintly rustling branches. Occasionally, the movement of a small animal breaks the silence, but it is subtle and distant, blending naturally into the serene cadence of the environment. The Viking pauses at a small stream trickling down from the hills above, dipping his fingers lightly into the cool, clear water. The sensation is refreshing, grounding, connecting him to the world around him in a quiet, soothing way. Standing again, he follows a faint path that winds gently up a low hill. Each step is measured and purposeful but unhurried. Wildflowers begin to appear along the edges of the path, delicate blooms in soft shades of white, pink, and purple, adding quiet color to the muted greens and browns of the forest. From this vantage, the hills open into a vast, rolling valley, where the river he traversed earlier winds lazily through fields and meadows. The surface of the water shimmers under the afternoon sun, reflecting a soft golden light that glows gently across the landscape. A light breeze moves through the trees, creating a gentle rustling sound that blends with the soft lapping of the waves along the distant shore. A bird calls softly in the distance, its song carried on the wind, creating a quiet melody that harmonizes perfectly with the natural rhythm around him. The Viking stops to listen, closing his eyes for a moment, letting the harmony of wind, water, and bird song envelop him in a calm, meditative awareness. Descending the hill slowly, he approaches the valley floor where the stream meanders more broadly. The water flows smoothly over rounded stones, producing faint, soothing sounds as it moves. Small ripples break the reflections of sunlight on its surface, creating subtle flashes of light that dance across the water. The surrounding grasses and wildflowers sway slightly with the breeze, softening the edges of the land and adding to the tranquil atmosphere. He moves gently along the stream's edge, allowing the rhythm of the water to set the pace of his steps. The world around him is quiet, alive but gentle, each sound and motion harmonizing with the next. The sun has risen higher in the sky, casting warm, golden light that highlights the subtle textures of the earth, leaves, and flowers. Shadows shift slowly across the landscape, stretching and fading with the soft passage of time. The Viking pauses near the stream, sitting on a smooth rock, and allows himself to simply observe. The gentle rocking of the water, the whisper of the breeze, the distant call of birds, and the faint rustle of leaves all form a natural symphony, calming his mind and body. He leans back, closing his eyes and letting the tranquility fill him completely. Time seems suspended in this peaceful afternoon. Each detail, the glimmer of sunlight on water, the soft sway of leaves, the quiet movement of fish beneath the surface, blends seamlessly into a slow, hypnotic rhythm. He walks along the water's edge again, feeling the cool touch of water on his fingers, letting the moment sink deeply into his awareness. The land, the water, the air, and the light all exist in perfect harmony, and he is part of this serene, endless dance. Every step, every breath, every quiet pause reinforces the calm, immersive atmosphere, creating a gentle, soothing cadence that is ideal for rest and relaxation. The Viking continues slowly along the valley floor, allowing the landscape to guide him, each movement deliberate but effortless, perfectly aligned with the hypnotic flow of the afternoon. The Viking continues slowly along the edge of the valley, the soft light of late afternoon casting long, gentle shadows across the rolling hills. The air has cooled slightly, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and pine, blending subtly with the gentle aroma of the nearby stream. The quiet rustle of leaves in the breeze, the distant call of birds returning to their nests, and the soft murmur of water over rocks create a harmonious rhythm that matches the slow cadence of his steps. Each footfall is deliberate, measured, and unhurried, allowing him to remain fully immersed in the peaceful environment surrounding him. He walks toward a gentle rise where the terrain begins to slope back toward the forest. The path is soft beneath his boots, moss and fallen leaves cushioning every movement. Along the edges of the path, wildflowers bend slightly with the breeze, their subtle colors glowing warmly in the fading sunlight. Small insects move quietly among the foliage, adding a faint, delicate texture to the symphony of sounds. The Viking pauses briefly to observe a butterfly drifting lazily from flower to flower, its wings catching tiny glimmers of sunlight as it moves. Continuing along the path, he reaches the top of a low hill, from which he can see the lagoon he left earlier, now shimmering with the warm glow of the setting sun. The distant hills cast long shadows, stretching gently across the valley and blending with the soft golden light. The water reflects the colors of the sky, pale gold, soft orange, and muted lavender, creating a mirror that stretches endlessly across the tranquil landscape. The Viking pauses, taking in the full view, letting the stillness and calm of the moment sink deeply into him. The path descends gently toward a small, sheltered clearing at the edge of the forest. Here, the trees are tall and protective, their leaves creating a quiet canopy overhead. The soft sound of wind through the branches blends with the distant ripple of water, producing a subtle, hypnotic rhythm that encourages relaxation and reflection. The Viking walks slowly, feeling the soft earth beneath his feet, noticing the faint texture of moss and small stones, the delicate patterns of roots weaving across the path. Reaching the clearing, he finds a suitable spot to rest near a faint trickle of water flowing from a nearby spring. The stream is small and gentle, the water clear and cool, producing a soft, continuous murmur as it moves over tiny stones and fallen leaves. He kneels briefly, dipping his hands into the stream, feeling the cool flow slip gently through his fingers. The sensation is calming and grounding, connecting him to the earth and the natural rhythm of the landscape. He rises slowly, letting the water drip from his hands, and steps carefully toward a flat patch of grass, where he begins to prepare a small fire for the evening. Each movement is slow and deliberate, gathering small twigs and kindling from the forest floor, arranging them carefully into a simple, functional stack. The scent of dry wood mixes with the lingering fragrances of earth and foliage, adding to the quiet, meditative atmosphere. The sun dips lower toward the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow across the landscape. Shadows lengthen and blend softly, creating a seamless transition between light and dark. The Viking kneels by the fire, striking a small flint to produce sparks. After a few attempts, a faint flame emerges, growing steadily as he breathes gently upon it. The soft crackle of the fire adds a new layer to the ambient sounds, blending perfectly with the rustle of leaves, the distant water, and the occasional call of a bird settling for the night. He sits quietly beside the fire, feeling the gentle warmth radiate over his hands and face. The gentle orange glow illuminates his surroundings, casting soft, moving shadows that dance quietly on the forest floor. He breathes deeply, absorbing the calm, hypnotic rhythm of the evening, letting the slow cadence of nature guide his mind toward rest. As the light fades further, he leans back slightly, eyes drifting closed for a moment, letting the subtle sounds, soft colors, and gentle motions of the natural world lull him into a state of deep relaxation. Every detail, the shimmering water, the rustling leaves, the glowing fire, the soft scent of earth and pine, works together to create a hypnotic, soothing environment. The Viking finally lies down on the soft grass, arranging his cloak carefully beneath him. He watches the fire flicker softly, the shadows moving gently across the clearing, before allowing his gaze to lift toward the darkening sky, where the first stars begin to appear. The world is calm, peaceful, and safe. Slowly, he closes his eyes completely, the rhythmic crackle of the fire and the gentle whisper of the forest blending seamlessly with his own slow, measured breathing. The long journey, the rowing, the quiet exploration of the land, and the tranquil afternoon all converge into this final, meditative moment. His mind and body relax completely as the soft sounds of the night take over, carrying him gently toward sleep. And so, the day ends quietly, the Viking resting beneath the calm sky, surrounded by the gentle rhythm of the world, a serene close to a long and peaceful journey.